Basketball fans, and welcome to another edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at Southwest Minnesota State University, and we have a special show this week. The Mustang men's basketball team did not play a game last week. They have a couple of big ones this weekend at the Bemidji State Classic, but this week we'll meet the Mustang coaching staff and a student athlete for the men's basketball team, as well as we talk about the behind the scenes that goes on for Mustang basketball. And with us, as always, this week, before we get to those guys, we'll have the head coach, Brad Bigler, with us, and we'll talk briefly about this upcoming weekend's games. You are playing a couple of big games, Michigan Tech on Friday at Bemidji State starting at 5 o'clock, and then Minot State University, a team that we've never played before, but will be joining our conference next season. And we'll talk to your assistant coaches and William Giddings here shortly. But, Coach, let's talk about the weekend. And you haven't played in a while. It's been over a week now, but talk about how practice is going and in preparation for this weekend's games.
Practice has been going well. Last Saturday we had a coaches clinic, and we had a good amount of coaches coming in, and we're putting together a DVD for the coaches clinic. It's been good. The last 13 days have been good, just to kind of get away, to refresh, have our guys get back in the gym. We added a few things as far as scheme on both the defense and offensive ends, and really just getting ready to go. Over the next 5 games, we're all on the road, and it's going to be a big challenge.
And, of course, the game on Friday against Michigan Tech, team that's a traditional power in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, a team that's 1-1. They lost on a chance to beat Minnesota Duluth at the last second, but lost, and they beat Minnesota State Mankato. It's going to be a very good team to play, a definite challenge on Friday.
And they're a team that brings a lot of dimensions. They got 2 big guys inside, are able to score inside, and able to step out and knock down the shot from the perimeter. And on the perimeter, they have a lot of guys who can knock down shots. So they're a talented team. Thus being preseason #1 in their conference, it's going to be a big test for us on Friday.
And then, of course, playing Minot State on Saturday, and they have played a couple of NSIC schools already. And but they're trying to prove something as well, that they're ready to compete in the conference. And first time we've ever played the Beavers.
And with Minot, one quick addition is they're going to have a couple guys coming off suspension. So when we play them, they should be ready to go.
And let's talk about, before we continue on with the show, what's your schedule for this weekend? You'll be heading up on Thanksgiving Day morning to go to Bemidji, and then have a little family get-together somewhere along the way going to Bemidji.
Yeah, the game plan is to have practice on Thursday morning. We're going to eat here in Marshall, and then we're going to get on the bus, and we're actually going to have our Thanksgiving meal up in Bemidji. And Coach Carroll has a nice surprise for us, so we can ask him here later on in the show.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. Again, Mustangs did not play this last weekend. They are coming off that loss to Milwaukee a couple of weekends ago, a 6-point loss. Wisconsin-Milwaukee is still perfect on the season, sitting at, I believe, 4-0 now in their non-conference season. So the Mustangs have some time off, but will return to action this Friday, 5 o'clock game against Michigan Tech, and then we'll play Minot State on Saturday starting at 5 o'clock as well. So, Coach, he'll stick with us here, and during the rest of the show we'll have some special guests, and we'll meet those individuals coming up right after this. We're joined with the special guests. Brad is joined today by Mustang assistant basketball coach Travis Carroll. It's a chance to get to know our Mustang coaching staff. We'll have Brooks McCowan here on shortly, but Travis joins us on the show. It's his first year as an assistant at Southwest Minnesota State University. And Travis, why don't you give a little background of your coaching background and how you got here to Southwest this past fall.
Okay, I did my undergrad at Southwest Minnesota State University, and then I got my teaching degree, and then I worked in Redwood Valley for a year and coached basketball there. Then I went to Leroy Ostrander, home of Chad Orem.
Oh, yeah.
Coached there for a few years. Then after that, had an opportunity to go down in Texas and teach, and coach down there for a few years, and then was looking to get back in this area, and had an opportunity, and Coach Bigler gave me that opportunity, so I guess I'm made a full circle back to Marshall.
And let's talk about your duties. Obviously, you're a graduate assistant coach, and
right.
Kind of let the fans know what that entitles, because not only are you putting in full-time hours as an assistant coach, but you're also going to grad school as well.
Right. I'm getting my master's in sports education leadership, and I'll be doing that for the next 2 years, and then as far as basketball, I work with on our trips. I work on getting our hotels and getting our arrangements set up for where we're going to eat on the road, and that good stuff.
And so far, I will attest, Coach Carroll's done a great job with that. And we'll have Coach Bigler will have a few words for you as well. But kind of talk about some of the duties, as you mentioned briefly, that trying to do travel arrangements, which aren't an easy job. It's kind of a thankless job, but there's a lot of preparation to go into that. But let's kind of give a background, for instance, on this trip to Bemidji this weekend. Just the little things. Not only are you helping with game planning and whatnot, but the things that go on to get hotel accommodations and the food and all that kind of stuff.
Right, just getting set with our meal before we get on the bus, making sure we're set on our time for that, and then just planning out when we're going to get in Bemidji. We're going to try a little spot in Bemidji. We'll see how it works. We called ahead, and they said they serve a Thanksgiving meal, so we'll see how that goes. But just trying to be on time with trying to time everything out and trying to be on schedule, so there's no there's no situations that come up where we're coming in late or we're getting there too early. And then, of course, after a week, the meal will head back and set up for film and get ready for the next day. And we'll start all over the next day and make sure we're eating breakfast on time and getting our shoot-arounds on time and just making sure that we're on time for each of those things.
And Coach Bigler, talk about what you look for in that position, because it is an important thing not only for practices and getting ready for games, but also recruiting and other things that go on. What do you look for in that position?
With the addition of Travis, it was nice, just with his overall experience being a little bit older. He's a guy who's ready. He's a guy who understands how to put in the hours. He's one of the first coaches in the office in the morning, one of the last coaches to leave. He's a guy that he has responsibilities not only with the travel arrangements, but also with some fundraising activities. He's been running our Mini Mustangs program, which, by the way, is the highest Mini Mustang program we've ever had here. It's about the numbers around 250. And that's a compliment to Travis and his organizational skills and his execution of Mini Mustangs. He also does scouting reports. He does scouting reports of opposing teams. He'll do workouts. We pretty much treat him as a full-time assistant, and he's really stepped up to the plate, and it's been nice to have Travis part of the staff.
And that's one thing that fans to realize what goes on as a graduate assistant, and that's kind of, Brad, you did the same thing, and pretty much every coach in college basketball, you have to do that. And I suppose, Travis, that's just coming back. I mean, you were teaching in Texas, but an opportunity to come back at a Division II, I'm sure that interests you, because that's the progression you have to make in this profession.
Right. It was a good opportunity, and working your way up through high school, and then have a chance to work in college. I think that's a opportunity that doesn't come around very often, and it was definitely an opportunity that I wanted to go forward with, and it's going well so far, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity.
And of course, can you talk a little bit about the high school that you were at in Texas? You had some success there during your tenure.
Yes, I happened to be at the right place at the right time. The high school I was at won the Texas 5A state title last year. I had a chance to work with one of the better coaches in the state of Texas, and had an opportunity to learn a lot from him. And having a chance to go to the state tournament and having a team win the state championship and being one of the better teams nationally, it's it's pretty great opportunity, and he was a great person to work under and learn a lot of things from.
And how about, before we wrap up, what are some of your future plans? Is it to stay in college or high school? Which kind of wait and see what happens here the next couple of years?
I'd say wait to see what happens. Getting my master's just opens new opportunities to, whether if I want to go the college route or I still have my teaching license, I can still go the high school route. I think the more opportunities that you have, I think the better, because I think right now it's just definitely one of those times in like our economy the way it is right now. You want to give yourself as many opportunities as you can.
So. All right, that's awesome. You're doing a great job, Travis. We appreciate you coming in today and talking a little Mustang basketball. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to the other assistant coach for Southwest Minnesota State, Brooks McCowan. We have some time to get to know our Mustang basketball program a little bit more. We just had Travis Carroll on, a graduate assistant for the men's basketball staff, and now with us is assistant coach Brooks McCowan, who's also in his first year here at Southwest Minnesota State. Brooks, thanks for being with us here today, and we've got lots of questions to throw at you. You've got an interesting background to get to Southwest, but like we asked Travis, kind of explain how you got here to Southwest and your coaching stops here in the last few years.
Well, I started my career in college at Northern Iowa. I was a player for 4 years there, and then after I got done playing there, I talked to Coach Jake. I was lucky enough that a graduate assistant opened up I did the GA route for 2 years there, and then stayed on the staff for 1 more year as a video coordinator. And then after that, I chose to move on and go to Des Moines Area Community College, where I was an assistant coach at a JUCO for 1 year. And then I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to come here, and this is my first year here.
Yeah, and let's talk about we'll talk about the differences at each level, but kind of talk about what goes on at Division I level as video coordinator. You're doing a lot of things, obviously video-wise, but there are some on-court things. And what was your kind of duties and responsibilities? Because you had some very successful runs there at Northern Iowa during your time there.
As a graduate assistant, I could actually be on the court working with the guys and doing some of that stuff. As a video coordinator, I wasn't allowed to be on the court at all, which was actually really hard for me. It was the first time in my career where during practice I had to sit on the sidelines and watch. Now there's other things you can do where you take notes and you can kind of edit video during the practice and do different things. But my main job as a video coordinator was office duties, helping out in the office with breaking down scouts, getting videos ready for the other assistant coaches so they could do their scouts, and different stuff like that.
And then, of course, after that, you're the video coordinator. You mentioned you moved on to the junior college ranks and you got back on the floor. And you've seen college basketball pretty much at every level. You've played at a high level at Division I. You coached there. Now junior college, now Division II. Can you talk about, I suppose, at different times, a lot of the levels the same? I mean, there's some great players at every level.
There is. There's great athletes, great players at every level. It's all about the kids you coach, I think. I've been lucky enough to coach good kids at each level. I was actually a little nervous going into the junior college level, to be honest with you. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But I was really lucky. DMAC, we had some great players, some great kids to work with. I think every level I've been at, and every level I think at the schools you're at, kids want to be successful. They want to be good basketball players. They're playing college basketball for a reason. They like the sport. So I've been really lucky to work with the kids that are trying to get better and want to win. So it's been good at every level. I don't think there's really a lot of differences at the level. The players are all, putting in the same amount of time and doing the same amount of work to be successful.
Well, let's talk about your day-to-day duties like we did with Coach Carroll. And you're doing a lot of the same things, a lot of game prep, but recruiting. And, kind of talk about a day in the life of Brooks McCowan, because I'm sure there's times here now once the high school season gets going, I mean, you're going to be on the road 2-3 nights a week and then running practice and games as well.
Right now, like you said, my duties are more scouting purposes. Once high school season starts, it'll be out on the road, traveling a lot, going out recruiting. We're also on the phone a bunch, calling recruits, Facebooking recruits, whatever it may be, just doing different things like that. Meeting with the players, watching film with the guys. Our guys do a good job of getting in and watching film, so doing that kind of stuff.
Well, now that, as you mentioned, being a player at Northern Iowa in the coaching ranks, I suppose, and being not that far removed from playing, I suppose you can take some of that, knowing what these guys are going through on a day-to-day grind, and take that as a coach and kind of know what they're going through, and with schoolwork and travel and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I try to use my experiences that I had in college and relate that to what they're doing, what they're going through. Sharing stuff that I did to help me become a better player. Is some things that I've done with them. Just talking to them and kind of getting to know them and seeing where they're at more than anything else is kind of what I've done with them. And
of course, here in your first year at Southwest, and what are we asked Coach Carroll the same thing. And I know you're just getting here, but what's your ultimate goal? Is it to be a head coach someday of your own program? Probably is for every coach in college, but I suppose now you're just taking it day by day and trying to learn as much as you can and work, making contacts and all that kind of thing.
I am. At every place I've been, I've just been trying to learn as much as possible. Being a player, you don't really realize the coaching side of it, how much they actually do, and what goes into every day to prepare for games. So I've just been trying to learn. I want to stay in college basketball. My dad and brother are both high school coaches. They've advised me not to go into high school basketball.
Yeah, I bet.
And my sister is now too, so she's probably going to be saying the same thing. Yeah. So it's something I want to do, is to stay into college basketball and continue to work my way up. I don't really have a timeline. I don't know if there's an exact way to get where you want to be. It just kind of happens, and I'm just kind of going with it right now.
What excites you about this basketball team? We've had a couple of exhibitions and one regular season game, but what do you think this team can do this year? And there's again, it's still early in the season, but we've got a pretty talented squad.
I have high expectations for our guys. You know, they're a very good basketball team. They play very well together. Some of the better teams I've coached and played on, they mesh. You know, they kind of have that where they just get it together. They're a team. And this group, I think, plays really well together. I think they're going to grow as the year goes on. We are still fairly young, but I think they're going to grow as a basketball team. And I think we're going to keep developing and turn out to have a pretty good season.
And speaking about practice, the day-to-day stuff, are there a position group that you coach on a daily basis at practice, or is it kind of the post guards, forwards? What's your specific area?
I work mostly with our guards. Obviously, throughout the practice, I'll work with every guy here and there. But when we break down into position work, Coach Carroll and myself usually go with the guards and work mainly with them in different breakdown drills.
All right. Well, Brooks, we appreciate you coming down today, taking a break out of your busy schedule. Both Coach Carroll and McCowan were in the office early today breaking down film on the weekend, and we appreciate you guys coming down, and best of luck this season. Mustang basketball with Brad Bigler, the head coach Brad Bigler. I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching here at Cable Access, Studio 1 here in downtown Marshall, and on the web at smsumustangs.com. And joining us now, a special guest, our third guest, kind of the first time we've ever had this many, Brad.
Yeah, making it happen.
Making it happen. Is Mustang basketball player William Giddings, who's in his third year in the program here at Southwest and is doing a nice job for the Mustang basketball program. And William, thanks for being on today. And why don't you give a little background to the fans out there, just your background at Southwest, how many years you've been here, and your hometown, and where you played high school basketball at.
Well, I'm a redshirt sophomore here at Southwest Minnesota State. This is my third year here, and I came here recruited out of Blaine, Minnesota. I played there for all 4 of my high school seasons, and coming out of high school, I was recruited by Coach Bigler and a former coach that used to be here. They brought me over here, and since then I've had a great opportunity to play here. I've met some great players along the way that taught me a lot of great skills, and coaches have done a good job of educating me on the game of basketball, and I'm hoping that in the next 2 years that I'm here after this season that we can make a great run.
Yeah, and William, talk about a lot of fans probably wondering how that recruiting process works, and you're getting calls a lot throughout the week. Kind of talk about how that process goes after maybe your junior year in high school, after playing summer ball or whatever, and then throughout the season. I suppose there's a lot of calls and a lot of letters coming to the home.
And there was, with your situation, it was a little unique too, because your high school coach is a brother of Marshall's high school coach, and not only that, but you can also add your athletic director was Neil Fletcher, the father of Matt Fletcher, a former player of the Mustangs.
All right, that was I think that was pretty cool how it all worked out. Coming out of high school, I didn't, I wanted to play college basketball, but I didn't quite know where I wanted to go. And as my junior year came around, recruiting started to increase, and Southwest seemed like it would be the place where I'd want to go not only because of Neil Fletcher being the father of a former player here, but also my head coach, Ted Critchley, is the brother of the head coach at Marshall High School. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of connections, and it brought me here, and I think it was the right place for me.
All right, and talk about now, as you mentioned, your second year playing at Southwest, you did have a redshirt season as well, and talk about that. I'm sure you played since you could start walking, then you had a year off, and you just had to practice. Talk about maybe it's going to make you a better player and get stronger, bigger, faster, stronger, but how difficult is that to have to sit out one season?
It was difficult. I really wanted to play. I've never been in a situation before where I had to sit out a whole year without, playing in the games on Fridays and Saturdays. But it was a great learning experience for me. I got to work on a lot of individual skills that I think that made me better, and I think it was well worth it. And now I can look back at that, and I'm pretty thankful because it humbled me up a little bit. It taught me that you should be very, very thankful and very fortunate, very happy for the opportunity to play this game of basketball. And so I think that redshirt experience was pretty neat.
Well, let's talk about being a student athlete at Southwest Minnesota State and being a basketball player. Kind of give a day in the life of William Giddings. I mean, there's a lot going on. You have your schoolwork to do, and then there's also practice and film preparation and lifting weights as well. I mean, how do you balance all that?
Well, being a college athlete of any sport requires you to be very organized in your day. It usually requires you to wake up pretty early. You have a few classes in the morning, you'll have a hour here and there for a lunch break, and then you'll play some basketball. So in the afternoon. So you got to be very, very organized with your day. When I'm gonna get a snack in, when can I get in the gym for a free throw or a few jump shots or so. And then you got to also make sure that in the evenings you're getting home to study and get to bed for the next day.
As we get going on here, Will, let's talk about, to the Mustang fans, your role as a defensive stopper, rebounder. Kind of talk about your role here as we're going on throughout the season.
Well, my role would be to be a rebounder and someone that can really attack the hoop. I think if you look at our players, we have a great amount of shooters, a great amount of guys that can put the ball in the hole, shooting it. But if I can be that one person to attack the rim and draw some fouls, and on the defensive side of the ball, if I can rebound and block shots and communicate, get my team's talk up, I think that'd be my role for the season.
And William, kind of talk about, I think fans see it during the games, the excitement is to be part of a team and just the camaraderie. But talk about just watching you guys off the floor. You really do all get along, and just how much fun is it to be part of something, to be a teammate and be a part of guys. 15 guys going to battle each week, and that's just about being a team is.
It's great. When I first got here on campus, my freshman year, I'll never forget the experience I had. It was unbelievable. It wasn't like high school where each individual player, they had their groups, and every other guy I hung out with, one or two guys here and there. Being on this college basketball team, it's very close knit. Everyone's together. We all play well together, and because of that, I think that has a lot to do with our off the court, the way we mesh together. I think that also helps our communication on the floor as well, because we're such a close-knit team. I think that really pays off.
Yeah, it does. And William, we appreciate you coming down today and taking a break out of your busy schedule and before practice. And I know it's not easy, so thanks for coming down. And Mustang fans get a chance to meet William Giddings, and you'll see him on the floor. And he'll be available for autographs after any game now. Now he's been on the Coach Bigler's TV show. But William, thanks for coming down today. Hey, welcome back to our last segment here in this week's Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. And Brad joining me here a little one-on-one as we wrap up this week's show. And that just gives a little insight of some of the guys that are involved in Mustang basketball. And, obviously, like you've always said, it's not just you that helps run this basketball program. You got a great staff and student athletes, and that was a good example right there.
And many times the best head coaches know you need to surround yourself with good people. And fortunately, that's what we've been able to do here. The coaching staff has been a blessing. They've been just the addition of Coach Brooks and Coach Carroll. Those guys have both come in. I think they've earned the respect of their teammates, of the players in the program. And you can see that the trust is there. Our guys enjoy coming up to visit with both those guys. They enjoy coming up to watch film with Coach McCowan and Coach Carroll. And those are the things that we need to do. We talk a lot about an NBA routine, doing more than what is asked of you. And I think they help with that. They're always available to the guys. And I think just that overall experience for our guys right now is where it needs to be, and that's what we pride ourselves on here at Southwest.
And we didn't really touch base too much with the coaches on it, but kind of talk about what you do daily with those guys. I mean, you'll meet throughout the mornings and kind of get a game plan for practice and what your games are going to be like scouting-wise.
A lot of times with our coaching staff, I mean, it's so much more than just basketball too. I mean, we have meetings on basketball specifically for organizational meetings. We have meetings just on fundraising. We're always looking to do that, work on that next fundraiser and get that organized. And then we also have to meet on recruiting. Recruiting so far this year has been good. The addition of Mitch Wegg is a great addition. We'll look to possibly recruit another point guard, maybe another bigger wing/forward, but more so for the future. The nucleus of guys that we have right now are the nucleus of guys for the next 2 years, and we expect big things out of them.
Yeah, it should be fun. Again, the Mustangs back to action this weekend in Bemidji, Minnesota at the Bemidji State Classic. On Friday, the Mustangs will take on Michigan Tech. That starts at 5 o'clock. And then we'll take on Minot State at 5 o'clock to wrap up the weekend. And then you go into December, Coach, and we've got the conference opener against Augustana and Wayne State on the road, and then finally at home for 4 straight games to end up the first semester. But some important games coming up, and I know the guys have had a good week and a half here of practice, and I'm sure you guys are ready to go. And now we're kind of getting to the teeth of that schedule.
And without question, this first 6 games of the year, in many ways, might be our toughest stretch of the year. Being on the road, playing the challenging teams that we're playing, it's going to prepare us, and it's really going to prepare us for after Christmas. And that's where our guys have to be able to see the big picture, and to be able to fight through these first 6 games and to get better throughout these first 6 games. The one thing I would add, there is a fan bus going to Augustana. So if you have interest in going on that fan bus, please contact us, and we'll get you connected to the right people.
Yeah, you go to smsumustangs.com. It's sponsored by the Alumni Association, D&G Excavating, and KHC Construction. It's just $10, gets you on the bus, and have a pregame social down in Sioux Falls, and then the game as well. You still have to buy the ticket, but not bad. $10 to get down to Sioux Falls and watch the Mustangs take on the Augustana Vikings in that conference opener on Friday, December 2nd. So that's going to wrap up this week's show. A busy show this week. We had Coach Travis Carroll, Brooks McCowan, and basketball player William Giddings all on the show, and hope you got a better insight on what's going on for Mustang basketball behind the scenes here for 2011 and 12. For the head coach, Brad Bigler, I'm Kelly Law. Thanks for watching this week's show. Until next time, go Mustangs!